graphic nature of this program, viewer discretion is advised.
This video is not intended for children. Viewer discretion is advised.
If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Greetings, one and all, and welcome to Mornings of Mischief. I'm your host, Stone Loki, and before we get started, we've already got a $5 super chat from Cardinal Sin. Skull, oh Loki, Morning Star of Mischief, may your way to Valhalla be paved with gold. Skull to the wrenches and to the chat. Skull, skull, skull.
Spartans! What is your profession?
And a big good morning to Dr. Herku Monkey, Project Storytime, Keely Chow, Roll Tide, Keely Roll Tide. Dave Bob, the Rooster in the Hen House is here. Purple Valkyrie and Samantha Joe, the Valkyries are here. Darth Haster, my tentacled brethren from another pantheon. Mark the Infinitely Tired. Good morning, everyone. Lord Bob, Psychodorp 9, Derek McManus. Guys, I hope you're having a great morning. Gun Bunny, good morning, Gun Bunny. Chris Persia, the Wrench of Wrenches, is here. Dee Dee Myers, good morning, Dee Dee. Good morning. I hope you all are having a great morning. Without further ado, I will bring in the supervillain of supervillains, a fellow YouTuber, a fellow streamer, Mr. Zod.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. It is the most earth-breaking, ground-shaking, but never media show, money-taking, the man, the myth, the legend, the most electrifying villain in YouTube entertainment today, Mr. General Zod.
How do you do that without going out of breath? Because I know I try and do that to Adega, and I'm like, after that.
Well, it's a funny story. I actually, when I first started, was tweaking something, and then one of my favorite people in all of WWE was The Rock, and he had his catch saying where he would say a bunch of lines. So I just practiced it in the mirror, and here I am, and I could say it in my sleep.
Nice. Yeah, I'm a Stone Cold fan. Obviously, Stone Cold Loki. I'm a Stone Cold fan. I want to hear that glass shatter. And man, did they have their battles in versus Rock. And we're not going to talk about wrestling. No. God, it'll drive everybody to drink first thing in the morning, and we don't want to do that. How the hell are you, sir?
Oh, I'm doing well. I gotta say, I was super psyched. Not so much about waking up early in the morning, but about coming out here to like set my alarm, and I was waiting the night before, and I couldn't wait to be able to chat with all of these great people.
Well, we've been waiting for this. You were on the Valkyrie celebration stream the other night, weren't you?
Oh yeah, yeah. That was a great. It was just a tremendously awesome stream. And I got on there and I'm like, wow, there are all these great people on here. I can't believe I got invited. I actually did my own interview with the Purple Valkyrie, which was just fantastic, and she was nice enough to invite me onto her celebration. So I was very thankful to be there.
Heck yeah, that was an absolutely crazy night. So you've been putting out your own content, haven't you?
Yeah. I've been putting out content for a while now. I believe I got on YouTube like 2008, but I really started doing things since Fantastic Beast 2, and I was very much disappointed in that movie. So the first video I shot was on my cell phone, that, where I decided I wanted to do it, and it was in my friend's house in his room after we saw the movie, and I just remember being so disappointed. And so I just got on camera and started ranting about it, and kind of was doing movie reviews after that, and people liked me being agitated. So
it's funny how that works, isn't it? It's funny how that works. People get all kinds of behind you when you get agitated, when you get angry, and when you're like, no, hell no, I can't believe they did that.
Oh yeah. It was I loved Johnny Depp's performance, the rest of the movie. I had been following Harry Potter for years. I remember being younger, coming out of high school, around that time, and reading all of the Harry Potter books, seeing all the movies. And then I went to see that, and I loved Fantastic Beast 1. But when I got out of 2, I was like, what the hell happened? All this got retconned and stuff. So I just kind of went off on a tangent, and, kind of just took off from there and started covering all things entertainment.
So you were a big Potter fan. You're a big Harry Potter fan.
Oh yeah. Love the Wizarding World, but it was just fantastic. I've always been not really a fan of the main stuff, but a big Lord Voldemort fan.
I was a huge Sirius Black fan. In fact, I think I've told this story once or twice. When I went to see Order of the Phoenix, I went opening night with my ex-wife, and I was sitting there, and right in front of me there was this couple, and you see the scene where Sirius Black is in the train in the train station with Harry, and he has that talk with him.
Yep.
Shit you not, that guy leaned over and told his girlfriend, loud as shit, he dies in this movie. And I looked at my ex-wife, and she just kind of had this sad look on her face, and she shook her head yes, and I was like, son of a bitch.
The thing that got me, like, I love that movie, but the thing that got me was the books, because of how the movies they had to cut a few things. The scene for that one was so much different in the movies, and I felt it didn't have as much weight to the film because of how everything was set up. That when you get to that scene, I felt it just had slightly less impact than the book did, because the book did a really good job of laying down the groundwork. And I know there's always a difference in the translations. You lose stuff because they can't possibly cover every single thing in the book. But yeah, that was my real gripe with that movie. But I still loved it. I mean, I'd have to say the Deathly Hallows actually were my favorite ones, part 2 in particular. But I did like Order of the Phoenix. I just wish they would have been able to give his character, especially the fact that they had Gary Oldman in there. He's a great actor.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It would have just had more weight if they would have been able to really play on the connection him and Harry had, which I thought was one of the things they really didn't take advantage of in the film.
No, you get that one little scene where he's talking about like, you can come live with me, that one little scene, and he's like, oh my God, I would love that, considering who the hell he's been living with. And it doesn't explain in the movies like it does in the book why he can't do that, why he can't go live with Sirius. The protection spell that is on the house that he is living at with his uncle and his aunt, and his cousin, that is like one of the big things that protects him in the books, and it never ever explains that the spell that Dumbledore put on that damn house and on Harry and on the family to protect Harry while he's not at Hogwarts. They never talk about that. So if Harry went to live with Sirius, that would like negate all of that, and Sirius he wouldn't be safe.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff missing to give people context about that, and difference between books and movies, and then Rowling went off the deep end and retconned everything. Yeah. And that's another story for itself. Yeah. But which is a shame. And that was another reason why I got on here. The idea of a lot of things within the media and stuff, and the way actors and authors and directors have come out and kind of destroyed their own stuff. But I'm still going to be a fan of the movies and the books because I grew up with that. But it's really a shame when people come out and just say ridiculous things and ruin the whole franchise. It's actually this. Since 2015 has been spectacular in the amount of
dumbassness. Yes. Oh yeah, you can swear dumbassness. Yes. Yeah. You swear. You can even drop an F-bomb. Just don't habitually drop it.
Okay, I'm just going to say the amount of bullshit that has been from 2015 all the way to now has just been absolutely positively ridiculous. And that was another reason for me to get on here, because I'm a pretty, I guess, brash person at times. And just the amount of horrendous garbage, how people have treated their fans and things like that, that was another thing that just got me upset. And I was like, there's got to be more people. There's got to be more people in the YouTube verse who feel exactly like I do. And shockingly enough, there's lots of people. So
they got tired of her shit. Yeah. Someone asked earlier if I Loki has actually read the books. Cardinal Sin. Yes. After that little theater incident, I went and read all the books, because I wasn't going to read the books because I didn't want to know what happened. The way I got into Harry Potter was different. My oldest kid loved those movies. So I got to watch those movies because my oldest kid watched those movies. Well, I liked them. So I was like, this is cool. All right. So I knew there were books. I knew there were books before the movies were coming out, obviously. But I decided that, well, I'm not going to read ahead. And then that thing happened with Sirius Black in the theater, and I wanted to kill that guy. I got him and his girlfriend thrown out too. I made a big ass fuss about that. I was like, because I was pissed. And eventually I went back and read the books. Eventually, shortly after that, I went back and read the books, because it wasn't gonna get ruined for me again. I hate shit like that. So, and welcome, Pat Steven. We did Crisco the doors, so you could get in. We Crisco'd the doors before the show this morning. So no worries, brother.
That is mildly disturbing.
Mary's Game Room. I read the books after the movies, and glad I did. I wanted to wait. I wanted to wait, but yeah, I love the books. Absolutely love the books. So much more happens in those books. There is a scene that was cut from the Deathly Hallows Part 1 where Dudley talks to Harry. And he's like, he's kind of like, I'm sorry I gave you so much shit all these years. I had no idea, And then once he realizes what his cousin has been going through, he apologizes to him. And it's that moment where like these two kids that have hated each other from the very beginning make peace. And Dudley realizes, you know what? You saved my life, dude. You put your neck on the line and you saved my life. I'm sorry. And that happens in the books. And it's such a touching moment in the books. And then they completely cut it in the movie. They filmed it, but they cut it. And I was so pissed. I was so damn pissed about that they cut that. And a $20 super chat from Psychodorf 9. Traveler 5 game report. Ship still broken. Imperial government. Hostile takeover. Giant battleship. Hacked. Engines on at the station. Dueling miniguns. You buy a new leg, then buy new landing gear. Thank you so very much, Psychodorp 9. And we're going to burn it down for you, brother. Skull! So where did you go from there? I mean, you did the Harry Potter stuff. What happened after that?
Well, I did Harry Potter, and then I started doing film reviews. I would shoot on my camera. This was before YouTube decided that everybody needed 1,000 subs in order to stream from their platform. So I went and was doing reviews from outside of my movie theater, and literally, oh God, don't go back and watch those videos. They were so terrible. But I would be in my car and I would live stream a review. I did one for like Us and things like that. And I wound up going and being invited into a group. Some people might know them, the Phantom Menace, little hashtag there going on. And I talked with Mary Mayhem, and I kind of got into a group with that and started covering some of that stuff. And then, from there, I met up with a couple of people, and I made good friends with one of my best friends that we've been streaming forever, Pop Culture PB. And then there was a great and funny Australian fellow we met called Stevie J Raw, and we got together. And there was a show we all liked, a show we loved. People might know it. It was called Game of Thrones. It was one of the greatest series ever. And we decided to get together and do reviews. It was about season 8. And
I take it you're not a fan of season 8.
Oh, season 8 was it was atrocious. And I called it from the beginning. When I first watched the first episode, something felt off. And I had gotten a feeling I had gotten from season 6 and 7, which notably some of the stuff started changing there. But it was, it still had some good stuff. But towards season 8, something happened. People's travel times didn't make sense. Characters were kind of acting a little off of the way they've been characterized for like 7 years and things like that. So we started ranting about that. And oh boy, were we not prepared for how downhill that whole fiasco would go.
I remember watching the first episode of Game of Thrones, and I didn't watch anymore. For a long time. And it wasn't until 3 or 4 months before season 8 came out that I was listening to Gary over at Nerdrotic and Overlord DVD talk about Game of Thrones, and they convinced me to watch it. And I watched the whole first season like right then. I spent like, however many hours it was. What have they got? 8 episodes, 10 episodes, whatever it was. I sat down and watched it right then. I said, you know what? Okay, I'm going to commit. And I went out and I bought the Blu-ray set of 1 through 7. And I literally spent like, I think 2 or 3 weeks doing nothing but watching Game of Thrones, getting ready for season 8. And I knew something was off. I knew something was wrong. And when I watched season 7, I was like, something isn't right here. It felt like there was a shift in storytelling.
Oh yeah, you could tell. Like season 7 was really when things started. Like it used to take, like, when you watch that show, it would literally take them half a season to get from one place to another. Like that was the appeal of the show, is that characters would be off in the world across the way doing different things, right? And then maybe they'd meet up, and it wasn't like happenstance or something. It would take a long time, and they'd all meet, and things would happen, and your favorite characters would wind up meeting up, and then some of them would never meet up, but you'd see the different perspectives. And then all of a sudden it was like everybody started ending up in these places, and you're like, well, how the hell, they've shown us the map for like 7 years, how did one person from like all the way over on this island end up all the way over here, where it would have taken them damn near a whole season to travel to that point? And now they're just boop, they're like right there. It's like, all right, but I was like, they're good. They're setting up for something. It's all gonna make sense. And then season 8 just went off the rails, because it's like, distance, traveling, characters in relations to anyone. It just didn't make sense anymore. Just like dropped all pretenses.
So what happened with your reviews?
I kind of started shifting from that, and then Dave and Dan's, we were watching their interviews afterwards, and what they were saying didn't make sense. So we started doing kind of a comedy sketch and really berating the issues, and we had a few people watching it and they liked it. So we went.
Must be how dark your 4K TV is.
Oh God, that was the biggest. I remember I got my mom into Game of Thrones, right? And we started watching it. So we sit down to watch that episode. Now, never forget that, the long night. What a terrible episode. And we're sitting there, and we have 4K. You can see like the sweat when someone's getting done with battle, crystal clear. But yet we could not see anything in this episode. We had to like DVR it, turn the brightness way up, and still could barely see the episode. And then I remember they released a statement saying how to adjust your television. I'm like, seriously, HBO? This is your answer? Are you kidding me? Like, it was so ridiculous.
Yeah. No, it was absolutely asinine. I've never had a problem with any kind of it's too dark on the Samsung 60-inch 4K TV I've got, and suddenly we've got a scene that you can't see anything, you can't make anything out. The lights are off in the house. Anything possible to see it better, and it's not happening. So, yeah,
and I was just like, and I started noticing this thing, and it had started happening with a lot of things, and it was this sense of Hollywood and people in this industry starting to treat the fans kind of terribly, and simultaneously too, I was also covering Star Wars at this time, because I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and at that time, around that time-ish, it was coming to the new sequel trilogy, and more things were looking bad, and The Force Awakens was all right. And then everybody remembers the film that changed it all, and that was The Last Jedi. And you guys could probably guess what side of that argument I was on. And that film dropped, and there started coming out this thing with people in the industry attacking fans and calling them names and berating our opinions, and it was across the board. And I remember being up one night watching a Saturday Night Live and that hack Kimmel, and thinking, my goodness, these shows have turned into a thing of just berating people and not listening to what people are saying. So me, my friend Pop Culture PB, Stevie J Reviews, and Perp Minded, and all of us, we got together and we were like, what if we did the inverse? We were fans of like Johnny Carson and stuff like that. I go, what if we created a late night show that was making fun of the stupid things the media said? Well, if we got articles and pointed out the absurdity of what these people are saying that people think, or what they think people want to know, because you start seeing a push for diversity and all of this nonsense that has nothing to do with entertainment. So that's when we started our late night talks, and you used to do it every day, but it was a lot. So that's when we kind of created our late night talk show.
That sounds absolutely kick-ass. Go against them talking crap about the fans and just talk crap about them. That's what I would do. Hell yes. There's too much of that. There's too much of, well, if you don't like this, you're this. If you don't agree with us on this, then you're this. The labeling, shaming, the finger pointing, all of that crap coming from that side it's been bullshit. All we want is good entertainment. That's it. And we don't want to be scolded. We don't want to have a finger pointed at us. We don't want a lesson in our damn movies. We just want a good damn movie.
Exactly. And it astonished me because in that short time frame, like, I think, if you trace it back, 2015 was really the genesis and the epic failure of Ghostbusters. But it was always slowly coming. It was always there beneath the surface. Social media and things like that started bringing more cases where fans and everyone could get together and start to point more of this stuff out that they had been laying down the groundwork for years. I mean, I was born in 84 and I lived through the 90s, and like shows and games being berated for content is nothing new. But it was like this weird shift. It was a change in the respect that the industry had for the consumer shifted and turned into a lack of respect. And this really just grade school name calling of people. And I've seen the comments people have made on Twitter to the people of Disney and things like that about certain products, and it's all been logical, or these other media outlets that would point out there's a subsection of these fans and they're trolls and they're living in people's basements, and I'm just sitting there listening and going, I don't live in my mom's basement. I haven't for quite a couple of years. I'm employed. I have a girlfriend. I have a daughter. What the hell are these people talking about? I just want to pass this on to my kids.
Yeah.
So,
and YTL, it became it has become a high republic tradition to cut people down or shame them because of their opinion, cancel them because of their views. How have you felt about cancel culture? The way cancel culture has been taking people out left and right.
Well, it's funny you should mention that because my channel evolved after that whole thing. I kind of started reshifting my channel, and then I recently, the last couple of months, I've been gearing myself towards the treatment of people in entertainment, and I started following Depth versus Herd. And when I first got into it, I had been doing a movie review with my friend Stevie J Raw, and we get done with the review, and I'm like, hey man, what are you doing? Because you know how we talk. I'm like, what are you covering? Anything interesting? And he told me about this case, and at the time I was covering the WWE. And if you guys don't know, there's a lot of dark, deep secrets in that organization, and there was a horrendous stories coming out of there. And he told me about Depth versus Herd, and it was kind of along the same lines of what I was covering. So I started digging into it, and I started really looking at the case, and I was like, holy cow, they are he's being accused of something, and there's all of this evidence that it's complete and total nonsense. And that's when I kind of shift to really covering that. And I've been in this amazing community, and a lot of them are DV survivors and things like that. And I started talking about it, and I was just like, man, this is ridiculous. Cancel culture and this hashtag Me Too movement is being clearly hijacked and used and weaponized to start taking out people with no proof, no evidence except for someone comes out and claims something, and then people are tried in the court of public opinion. And it all swung back because first it was the fans, and now it's just people in general that aren't towing the line, that aren't, that don't want to see the same way that these crazy people who come out with the diversity and everything, they're like literally trying to take these people out. And it's like, wow. So then I pivoted and I started covering a lot, and I started realizing that it wasn't just him. There's been tons of stars that have been, nice and kind to their fans, that have ton of fan support for the roles they play and what they do and how they are as a person in general. And this cancel culture, this Me Too culture is on a quest to absolutely positively destroy them. And for the life of me, I cannot figure out why. The only conclusion I came to is because they want a certain kind of thinking, and the people that they are going after don't fit into the narrative that they're trying to push right now.
No, I agree. I completely agree. It's all about narrative. It's also about what happens after you've stood up to them. I don't know if you noticed when the stuff with Johnny Depp happened, when he lost his lawsuit, he lost all support. Any support he had, anyone that was on the fence, immediately withdrew that support because they knew he was going to get backlash for standing up to Heard, even though we know Heard lied. Heard lied in court. Heard lied to a judge. She lied, and they still were like, well, none of that matters. And then you find out that the judge was connected to Heard, and the judge had meetings with Heard outside of court, and you hear all this other crazy shit that was going on during the court case. And you kind of get the idea something below board was going on, but nobody wants to talk about that.
Exactly. And that's what I started covering on my channel. I started diving deep into it. Me, Stevie J, Rob Rules, a bunch of us, that great people that I was starting to hook up and connect with and talk with. So I just came on and I gave my opinion, and I started calling it out. And apparently a lot of people like how forward I was about it. And that's when things really took off. But the key was I have been passionate about this for a while now. And it all, to me, was not just about one particular person now. You could see connections starting to form. And, Johnny lost the UK, but a lot of people forget he didn't lose against Amber Heard. And that's where the media seems to get it wrong. He lost against the Sun. When you're going against a corrupt media apparatus, the astronomical possibility of you winning against a newspaper, no matter where it is, even if it was in the US, was never going to be a good prospect. But the fact that he still fought it and he continues to fight it, and his trial against Amber Heard and the VA is going to be coming up, I think that's going to be a whole different ball game. But it really did help shine a spotlight on the fact that the media apparatus itself is so corrupted. And, the Sun has been a corrupted apparatus for years now. And, they were probably always going to have an ace up their sleeve or whatever else. That was probably not going to be a battle who's going to win. But now, things are turning and shifting. Things have been coming out about Amber Heard, and it's been very interesting to watch. And my favorite part about this is there's a bigger victory here besides Johnny Depp, and I really hope he pulls it out. I think he will, at least in Virginia. But the bigger thing is that there's actually someone who said, you know what? I'm not a wife beater. I'm not this label. You got it wrong. And you put my name out there. You damn near destroyed my career. He's got kids. That's all in with the kids. They have to deal with that because these people put on a label that was not true. And the mind-boggling thing is that was downright slander. They labeled someone with no proof, no facts to back up any of their claims, except for one person's testimony. And none of the other people who were actually involved ever took the stand. That was the most interesting part. And now this all swings back to what's been going on now for a while with the media, is that they don't fact check, they're lazy, and they're into name calling. They have no actual proof behind anything they say. They randomly will call you names, and so will studios and things like that. And I was like, this is interesting because maybe one actor starting to say, hey, I'm not going to let you do this, will lead to other actors who will step up. And now you're seeing the same thing with Gina Carano and what's going on with her on Twitter and the way that there's been atrocious and attacking her. And it's starting to be more of a trend.
No, I agree. It is a trend. It is a trend the way that Hollywood has treated fans of IPs. It is a trend in how they have treated men. When you start getting those messages and you start seeing what these crazy people are saying, like all men are guilty. All men are guilty of something. So if you were accused of doing something to a woman, you should just accept that she believes that you did that. Even if you didn't, she believes that you did that. So you should pay and do the time for men that have done it to other women and not had to pay for it. I do not know where that line of thinking came from, but that's the craziest shit I've ever heard.
Oh yeah. Here's the thing that's made me passionate about it is that I've followed other things with court cases and stuff like that just in my personal life, and I've always found that fascinating. And the law is you are innocent until proven guilty, and they flipped it till you're guilty till proven innocent. And it's ridiculous, it's asinine, and it really sets a dangerous precedent for people who want justice, and they see people who are being sacrificed to the altar of all of this nonsense. And people who have real issues, whether it's guys or girls, now have this stigma that they get placed with. And it really just lit a fire under me. And I started covering a lot of it because it just makes me think about the people that are going through this. And I've had the pleasure of speaking with some people who've had stuff like that happen, or my friend Stevie J has covered people who have been victims of domestic violence and things like that. And the support that he has is because people recognize when you're full of shit, and they all recognize that Amber is lying about this stuff. And it just astonishes me, and I'm really hoping that at the very least all of this comes out, because it does one very other important thing, and it destroys the narrative that the media has been building for years. They've been in this believe all women, all of this and that, and and you should believe people based on facts and evidence. There should be evidence and facts presented, and then based upon that you should make a judgment.
Adega Outlaw, in cancel culture, it's guilty because we don't like your ideals, regardless of evidence.
Exactly. And the cancel culture all fits into that. And here's the funny thing about cancel culture. These people are so quick to cite it. But also there's been cases of the cancel culture turning on itself. Look at Jimmy Kimmel. Okay, this guy, if you guys ever come to my channel, I go on rants about this guy. This guy is a guy who literally started a show called The Man Show. And don't get me wrong, I thought it was hilarious back in the day. I'm sure a lot of us all watched it.
Yep.
Steve Carolla, right? And Jimmy Kimmel. That was, what was Carolla? Was his name? Yeah.
I believe so, yes.
And it was good, fun entertainment, right? And then I don't know what happened. He starts rubbing shoulders with all of the big Hollywood elitists and those wackos up there, and he gets his late night show. And then all of a sudden, this guy is talking about canceling people and berating people for having certain views and opinions. And then what happens? They pull clips from his earlier shows. And it's like, Adam Carolla, thank you. And he was like, and it's like, funny, this tag you guys have been hiding behind, this cancel culture. Now it's a bad thing. Now all of these stars want to step up and start talking about cancel culture because it's coming for you. See, there's no loyalty in that. Sure. Are there terrible people in this world? Yes. Are there terrible celebrities? Yes. There's a lot of celebrities that have done shady stuff, but bringing people's personal life into it is a very dangerous thing. Playing this game that they're playing is very dangerous, because you could look back at anyone from 10 years ago and find something on anyone. We were all kids at once. We all done stupid, ridiculous things, said stupid stuff. You could probably dig into anyone's past and find something to just throw them under the bus for. And that's why, to me, this cancel culture is ridiculous and it doesn't work, because you're talking about destroying people that aren't the same people they were 10, 20 years ago.
Yep. Cardinal Sin, his ex-wife, Sarah Silverman, was a guest on his show and said, "I got the dirty man show, Jimmy. Now you're the cool, handsome, woke Jimmy."
Yeah. And that's another thing that creeped in this woke culture. It's just like, and it all swings back to everything where it's like this ideal that this political correctness. And the irony of the whole thing is woke culture, cancel culture, all of these different cultures that have been developing, these people are so behind the curve. We've had diversity, we've had inclusion, and I'm doing air quotes, and all this nonsense for years. I mean, there's several films, there's several shows that you can trace back going to 1990s that we're already including this. So what baffles my mind is a push supposedly for diversity and all of the other labels that they seem to be putting on everything. I mean, am I wrong? Hasn't this stuff existed since we were kids? I mean, it's nothing new.
No, it's nothing new. They just it's never been to the point where they were seeing how far they could bend over further than anyone else to really get it up their ass.
It's like, yeah, it's like now instead of people going, you know what, I'm gonna make the best show that I can, and you know what, if I drop in a few things here and there, like subtly, like truly creative, like creative people used to do, you know, I can sneak my little messages here and there. But you know, I'll do something crazy, right? I'll build a good story. I'll tell a good tale. You know, I'll sit down and I'll be creative and I'll write something that people actually give a shit about watching. And you know, and within that story, I'll be able to put in some points, but it'll be subtle and maybe people will get it on a subconscious level. You don't got that anymore. It's like, oh, let me see which one of us can be the most diverse this week.
Oh, mediocre too. It's all about mediocrity, because these people don't have the talent to be writing the stories they're writing. They don't have the talent to be directing the movies they're directing, and they sure as shit don't have the talent to be putting them in comic books and in books and magazines. They just don't have it, and they're being rewarded for mediocrity. You see it every day in the comic book industry. Just look at how the comics look today compared to the way they looked in the 80s, in the 90s, in the 2000s. They look fucking horrible. And that's
man.
They're rewarding that mediocrity. They're handing out the trophies to everyone and saying, "What a great job. That looks just great there, little soldier."
I 100% agree. You know, my first comic that I ever owned was the X-Men. That was the first my first introduction to comic books. And I remember it was like a old school. They had their old uniforms, like the yellow X, and Beast kind of still looked like a person. I remember being a young kid and reading this, and just the fantastic characters and the drawings and the compelling stories and this battle of good and evil, but in a world that's not good and evil. It's morally gray and ambiguous. And I remember sitting down reading this and thinking to myself, wow, like this is so amazing. And then as I got older, those themes really resonating with me. And I was a fan of Image Comics, and I in particular love Spawn. And you know, the way that Spawn had such a morally ambiguous story, to say the least. And you know, just watching all of these great comic book artists. And then I got into DC, and as you guys can tell, I'm more of a fan of Zod. But you know, this Superman I really liked more than Batman. I know people don't hate me, but you know, it's Superman. Anyways, I remember reading the adventures of Superman and stuff like that, and always finding fascinating of how Clark Kent viewed his disguise, and the disguise in particular, because I remember watching a video on it, and they said that Batman and them put on a suit, right? But Superman is always Superman. His disguise is us when he dresses up as Clark Kent. That's the disguise. He's always internally Superman. And that kind of resonated with me of, you know, how unique that kind of disguise was in the superhero genre. And, you know, that was just the brilliant writing of the time. And you don't have that anymore. We got the new Warriors and a body positive Wonder Woman.
Oh, God.
Jesus Christ.
I couldn't believe that when I saw that. And that stirred up some shit around here, man. There were a couple of people that were like, you know, we're going to fight for that fat Wonder Woman. And I'm like, guys, it's not that it's a fat Wonder Woman. It's that she basically put herself in that role. Look at the artist, and then look at all her previous art, and then look at the Wonder Woman art. It's shit. It's not just that it's a fat Wonder Woman. It's that the woman cannot draw for shit. And every single character she's made looks exactly like the Wonder Woman character she made. And guess what? It looks like she's been looking in a mirror. It looks like she's been looking in a mirror. Holy shit. She's been drawing herself this whole time. And you guys hired her to do this. You guys looked at her art and didn't see this. DC, you didn't see that she's basically been drawing herself and inserting herself into her art, and you still hired her. Why is that? Oh, because she's mediocre. Okay. I feel like the guy on what was that movie? The Road Warrior, the Mad Max Fury Road. I feel like the guy on Fury Road, mediocre, as he's driving by pointing at shit.
and yeah, so that's kind of that is the reason why I made the shift with my channel, and I've been doing a lot of things. I got like a news segment and stuff, and been heading towards the entertainment and a lot of covering depth. But I've also been like talking about these things too, because it's all, this whole thing is all a circular thing. It's been media in general, and I also do video games as well, and it's bleeding into everything, like with video games, and it's just like developers.
Funny how that started with Mass Effect. That started with Andromeda, and again, mediocre. The game was mediocre. The talent on it was mediocre. They accepted mediocrity and said, oh, this will be fine. And no, it's not. Especially in video games, it doesn't work. Mediocrity does not work in video games. It doesn't work in movies and TV either, but they've got enough press and they've got enough reviewers to say, oh, this was absolutely great, when in reality, they're just saying that because it was mediocre. It was a great mediocre movie. They're just leaving out the fact that it was mediocre. Mediocrity is the new, oh, wow, this is great.
Oh yeah. That has been the whole argument, and this is the thing that's made me upset about this. You know, they're so out of touch. The fans aren't mad because you're making diversity or whatever. Okay, fine, do you? That's wonderful if that makes you feel good about yourself. What we're upset about, what we're pissed off about, is the fact that you are peddling subpar garbage that's a cheap knockoff of something that came before it that's been better, and saying, oh, this is the new thing. This is great. Look at what we've done. And it's like, no, like you said, it's mediocrity at its finest. And it's sad because there's so many great artists and people that are sitting on the sidelines waiting for their opportunities. Meanwhile, we got these gender study weirdos who get pushed to the forefront and are allowed to be given a major property and single-handedly sink it like nothing I've ever seen before. It's spectacular. It really is. It's just mind-boggling.
And yeah, guys, I was talking about the video game Andromeda, not the television show Andromeda. Video game.
Oh, no, that's stellar.
Mass Effect Andromeda. Yeah, not Andromeda, the TV show, but Mass Effect Andromeda, the video game. Mediocre. And someone said celebrated. It's not accepted, Loki. It's celebrated. But that's what I'm talking about. They're handing out trophies to mediocrity. They're handing out trophies and celebrating it like it's the bestest thing ever.
And I don't get it. I don't understand why. And I just wanted to say, shout out to Snow Dub, because I saw you in the chat. Gender check, buddy.
Snow Dub's excellent. Absolutely awesome guy. Wonderful channel.
Yeah, if you don't know, we've had some rap battles.
Puppets. Let me tell you something, puppets. And he's got some crazy ass people on the show. I don't know who this this pussy monster is, but damn, I'm liking him. I'm liking his stuff when I see him over on Startup's channel, the puppet. Yeah. I'm just like, holy shit. Wow. Holy shit. Great guy. Tell before we get out of here, because I think we got like 5 minutes left. Tell us a little bit about your channel and what you got going on. What do you have coming up? What are you working on?
Well, my channel is General Zod's Fandom Zone. And right now I've been doing a lot of Johnny Depp, Amber Heard stuff. I also have a list for my movie reviews and stuff like that. I might do a couple of those. I've just been crazy busy. I have Friday nights, I have my late night talks where we pick articles from random shows and kind of tear them apart and make fun of how inaccurate and wrong they are. On Saturdays, I have a news segment where we cover different things media-wise. Last Saturday, I actually gave some clues to a new show no one knew was coming out on HBO Max called DMZ. And my dad actually talked to one of the actors involved in that. So
really,
Hun Lee.
No shit.
Oh yeah. My dad's actually spoken with him over the phone. So, it's pretty cool. And we're working out with some pretty big people to try to get them on my channel for an interview. So there's a few people we're talking to right now. Someone from Warrior and a couple of other people. So we're still working that out. To come and interview them. And so I do that Fridays and Saturdays. And through the week, I do interviews. I do fandom talks where I interview other YouTubers. And I kind of give them an opportunity to talk about their channels and stuff like that. And then Sunday, I do Just Bitchin' with my girlfriend, and we talk about movies. We did a great review on Shark Exorcist. And if you've never seen this movie, don't. You've done yourself and the world a favor, because that movie broke me. But but that's pretty much what I'm doing. And to later today, I've got a Phantoms talk with a great content creator who will be coming on my channel, named Tiffany Daniels. She's going to be coming on and talking with me about her channel and what she does. So definitely come by and check it out. And thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me on.
Oh no, thank you for coming on here, because you've added to my content. I tell people that all the time. Don't thank me for coming on here. Thank you. We've spent the last hour talking about Harry Potter. We've talked about the way they've socially tried to manipulate people, cancel culture. We've talked about all this stuff, and you've added to my content. So thank you, sir. It is a pleasure to have you on here. I would love to have you on here again at some point in the future. Talk more about cancel culture. Talk more about Harry Potter. I have almost no one to talk to Harry Potter about.
I'd love to, man. Me neither.
No, yeah. So guys, check out General Zod. We've been throwing his link out in the chat. Mr. Zod. I said General Zod. I even put General Zod in the description. Because that's what I think. It's General Zod. You're Zod. Kneel before Zod, but we don't kneel here in Valhalla. So, but yeah, I can totally see that. You need to incorporate kneel before Zod.
I try to at the end of my streams. I'm still working on that. I got some people to kneel. So, world domination is a slow process. Mr. Loki. It doesn't happen overnight.
No, it does not. And I was before we get out of here, I was at a convention. This was back in, it was shortly after Smallville ended. And I'm walking in this convention and I hear that, dude. Kneel before Zod. And I turn and there's Terrence Stamp. And there's these three guys on their knees with their heads down, and they're just fans, man. So they just came up and they saw Terrence Stamp, and they were like, "Oh my God," and he was kneel before Zod, And boom, down on one knee they went. And I was like, holy shit, that is the coolest thing. That is the coolest shit I think I've seen. That. And it was the coolest thing I saw all weekend. Was I saw Terrence Stamp make these guys go down on one knee and, kneel before Zod. It was really cool. That he just does that, out of nowhere. He probably got asked to do it, but shit.
Yes, and really quick, Keely, I saw that question. Yes, I do cover Batwomen. I'm working on my second review I might do with my friend. People requested me to do it. And what can I say? I live for you guys. I put myself through those terrible episodes.
Yep, I'm doing some Batwoman reviews with Eris of Chaos. Usually we do those on Monday, but I wanted to get you in here today and talk to you. And I really do appreciate it. Thank you for coming in here.
Thank you. It was great.
All right, guys. I will be over on Clobbering Times channel, hanging out with him, talking WandaVision. So if you guys don't know, that is at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. If I could have a mod, if one of the mods could please throw a link in for Clobbering Times, I would really, really appreciate that. We have been talking to Mr. Zod. His channel should be linked in the description. We've got the Valkyries coming up in a little less than an hour over on their channel. They're going to be talking news and updates. A big thank you again to Mr. Zod. Thank you, chat, for being here, hanging out, and giving him a warm welcome. We will be back tomorrow morning. Everybody take it easy, take care, and have a good one.
These videos are tremendous. Like, comment, and subscribe, and hammer that notification bell.